Hello, good morning, my dear loving students of 10th B and 10th F. We continue the chapter, page number 22, second last paragraph. In the last class, we noticed what is freedom to him when he was a kid and when he grew up. As a kid, Mandela had a different meaning for being free, as he wanted to run in the fields and wanted to stay out at night. That was available for him. But as he grew older, he wanted the freedom of livelihood for himself and his family. He also said, a man should try to make a balance between his duty to his family and duty to his community and country. And a black person was treated badly and not allowed to perform his duties. And in the next paragraph, we saw this also. According to Mandela, freedom has many aspects. He thought to play around, move around, that was only freedom. It was, he says there, it was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, something that appears to be real, but it's not. Real freedom, he understood, real freedom means equal rights for everyone. And also to fulfill the needs of his own and his family. Very apt definition. It's very important. According to Mandela, what's the meaning of freedom? As a kid, it is to run and play. But for an adult, it is to fulfill the needs of his own and his family. And real freedom means equal rights for everyone. We learned that paragraph. I can start from there. Second last paragraph. We explained it yesterday. It was only when I began to learn that my boyhood freedom was an illusion, when I discovered as a young man that my freedom had already been taken from me, that I began to hunger for it. He wanted to have that freedom when he grew up. Then only he realized, he discovered his freedom had already been taken from him. He had been hungry to have it back. At first, as a student, I wanted freedom only for myself. The transitory freedoms of being able to stay out at night, read what I pleased, and go where I chose. Transitory, not permanent. First he thought, okay, freedom for myself, for himself, he thought. What are those freedom he wanted? To stay out at night, read and what he pleased, and go where he chose. Later, as a young man in Johannesburg, I yearned for the basic and honorable freedoms of achieving my potential, of earning my keep, of marrying and having a family. The freedom not to be obstructed in a lawful life. He wanted freedom in many fields. Then he realized these all areas a black man is obstructed. Last para, but then I slowly saw that not only was I not free, but my brothers and sisters were not free. Gradually he understood the fact that not only he was not free, but his brothers and sisters were not at all citizens of his race or country. I saw that it was not just my freedom that was curtailed, cut short, reduced, but the freedom of everyone who looked like I did. how he looked like, same race, the people of same race, black Africans. They all wanted freedom, but that freedom was curtailed to those people of his race. That is when I joined the African National Congress, ANS, Democratic Party. He joined in the party, in the Congress, fought for the freedom of the people. And that is when the hunger for my own freedom became the greater hunger for the freedom of my people. From the hunger for his own freedom made him realize this is not only of my freedom. I had that hungriness for having my freedom, and the same thing with all the people of the country. He started fighting for that, not only for himself, for the people of his country. It was this desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect, dignity with honor and self-respect, that animated my life. Now he understood, yes, I must work for the freedom of his people, to live their lives with dignity and self. Nobody, no black African was given any respect. As I told you already, they were considered as the slaves. So he wanted to fight for their freedom. It was his desire for the freedom of my people to live their lives with dignity and self-respect that animated my life. Animated means that gave life. Animated, made him live, made him active. That transformed a frightened young man into a bold one. That gave him such a courage. I'm not alone. Not only my freedom is curtailed, reduced. So that transformed a frightened young man. He's talking about himself. Once he was very much frightened, into a bold one, courageous one, that drove a law-abiding attorney to become a criminal. Law-abiding attorney, a lawyer. Attorney general means a lawyer who obeys rules. That drove a law-abiding. He was a lawyer. He became a criminal to attain the freedom for his country. That turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home. He's taken out from his family. Near about 30 years, he was in the prison for fighting against the whites to get freedom. That turned a family-loving husband into a man without a home. He became a homeless fellow. That forced a life-loving man to live like a monk. He had everybody, but this 30 years he lived like a monk. Monk means a saint in a lonely place, in a cell. I'm no more virtuous. Virtuous means a good fellow, full of virtues, or self-sacrificing than the next man. But I found that I could not even enjoy the poor and limited freedoms I was allowed when I knew my people were not free. He wanted to fight. He wanted to be a criminal. He wanted to sacrifice himself for the freedom of the country. He noticed, he found that I cannot enjoy anything. Whatever freedom I have, It's very poor and limited freedom, he says. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them. He understood that also. Very poor and limited freedoms I was allowed, and he knew that same with the people of my country. The chains on my legs are the chains on all of them. The chains on all of my people were the chains on me. I knew the next paragraph. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated. Just another man's freedom is a prisoner of just another man's freedom. One line I left. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. I knew that the oppressor means one who oppresses others. Oppressed means one who bears tortures, on whom this oppressor gives a suffering. Sufferer is known as oppressed. Oppressor is the fellow who is oppressing the others. So I knew that the oppressor must be liberated just as surely as the oppressed. He understood both oppressor and the oppressed are not enjoying their freedom. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Unless and until I know the real meaning of freedom, I cannot give freedom to others. That means police people are always cruel. Once they get the suffering of a thief, or when he comes to a situation, then only he will understand. So the oppressor and the oppressed both are not liberated. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. First, white people must understand the meaning of real freedom. Then only they can be little bit lenient towards these people. Unless and until they have the feelings. That is why he says, a man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. He is locked behind the bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. The officers, they are cruel because their senior officers order them. But there are good ones also. When they understand the feelings of these innocent people, then only they can show little bit of kindness towards these people. So what he says, the oppressor also needed freedom from their prejudices. Prejudice means a strong dislike without any good reason. I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom. Yes, I am not at all free, truly free, if I am taking away someone else's freedom. Just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. Got it clear? I am not truly free if I am taking away someone else's freedom. If you are perfect, then only you can curtail or punish somebody else. You must be perfect. No man is perfect. Just as surely as I am not free when my freedom is taken from me. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are same and are robbed of their humanity. In their minds, the oppressor doesn't have any kind. So first they have to be taken out of their prejudice. They are not at all free from their prejudices. They must have a feeling compassionate. They must understand why these innocent people are punished. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are same and are robbed of their humanity. Clear? I knew that last paragraph is very difficult, but it is very important too. I knew that the oppressor must be liberated. They must get freedom from their inclusive mentality, narrow-mindedness, prejudices, hatred, bias. A man who takes away another man's freedom is a prisoner of hatred. Prisoner of hatred. From their minds, this hatredness must be taken out. He is locked behind the iron bars of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. They are in which prison? Prison of prejudice and narrow-mindedness. Their mind is not open. They don't see the suffering of other people. Unless and until they are free from these prejudice, hatredness and narrow-mindedness. Narrow-mindedness means a condition of having narrow beliefs and religious beliefs there. The oppressed and the oppressor alike are robbed of their humanity. They are not kind at all. Both the oppressed and the oppressor, they are looking same. They are same. Because they are robbed. Robbed means from them it is stolen the good quality of humanity. That's why they are very cruel. Clear? So very important. What are the twin obligations? Does Mandela mention what did being free mean to Mandela as a boy and as a student? How does he contrast these transitory freedoms with the basic and honorable freedoms? Does Mandela think, from the last paragraph, does Mandela think the oppressor is free? Why? Why not? Last paragraph is also very important. So read the chapter thoroughly again and again. So we learned today. Let me conclude. Today I will give you the question answers also. Nelson Mandela joined the African National Congress, ANC. He desired people to live with dignity and respect. He wanted the oppressor and the oppressed to be liberated. And patience and perseverance, guided by discipline and system, yield the desired result. Patience, waiting capacity. 30 years he was in the jail. Perseverance, continuous hard work. And soon he realized that a childhood freedom was only an illusion. That's not the real freedom. What he enjoyed, playing outside, moving around the houses and playing outside, swimming in the river, that was not the freedom. That he realized when he grew up. He realized that his brothers and sisters who looked like him were not at all free. That's why he joined African National Congress. Yes, his hunger for freedom became great for the freedom of his people. He decided that everyone should be given the right to live his life with dignity and respect. He wanted the oppressor and the oppressed to be liberated. As no one is free if one is taking someone else's freedom, only such feelings can bring true freedom for everyone. That's all for today. Stay safe and healthy. Thank you.